Well, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are and like where your love for music came from, what inspired the guitar, that whole process, and how'd you end up where you're at with these guys currently?
So Mike Lars, guitar player, songwriter, currently for Cranberry Soup. Um, I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland, and I want to say the song that turned me on to rock and roll was a Rod Stewart song called Hot Legs. And I used to ride with a nursery school teacher that dropped all the older kids off to elementary school and stuff. And she listened to the local rock station, and that's where this song caught my attention, and I knew instantly that I wanted to make that sound, but I had no idea what was doing it. And I run home and tell my mom, and she laughs because she actually knew who Rod Stewart was at the time. And so she started sharing her music with me more openly. Like it wasn't something that we really talked about before. But when I let her know that like this song had struck me the way it had, she started sharing more and more things with me. And eventually, one day we were at Sears, and they used to sell records for this record company called K-Tel,
Yeah, yeah, I've
and
read about that.
it was I don't know, probably dating myself, this like 77, 70, 78 Kiss Alive 2's out and on the shelves at Sears, and I see the record cover for the album Kiss Alive 2, and the picture of Gene Simmons and the picture of Ace Frehley. Again, I just had this moment of clarity where I was like, I'm doing that, and I knew I wanted it to be the guitar. So that's kind of how it started.
When did you get your first guitar and what was it?
Oh God, it was I was 12, and it was a Hondo 2 Les Paul copy double cutaway. So it was like a very heavy and poorly made copy of a Les Paul Jr. or like Melody Maker.
Yeah,
But it was mine, and
I mean, a pretty cool starter guitar still though. Like,
actually, yeah, it was. It wasn't bad, and so we're talking. I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea what setups were, things like that. Action, string gauge. All the things that none of us learn until later, unless you're fortunate enough to be born into a house of musicians, or someone that knows where to get you the proper training. But my mom's like, my kid wants to play rock and roll and he wants an electric guitar. Okay, here you go. And we just kind of took it from there. But yeah, the Hondo 2, and it was very heavy, and the action was like a mile off the neck, and so it was very frustrating to learn on.
and so I mean, how'd you start off? Did you like memorize songs that you liked, or did you? Because I know, I mean, a lot of people talk about strategies and approaches, and I learned this song and kind of built on that, or
Went to my mom signed me up for lessons, and I think I made it through two or three of them, and because I wanted to learn how to play Stairway to Heaven and Paranoid and things like that, and the teacher was like, yeah, okay, cool, we'll do that, but we started with notes and numbers and charts, and I was just like, it's not how that song goes.
yeah,
So I stopped going, and my mom was convinced that I wasn't serious about playing. And the guitar sat for probably a year, and then one summer I was home watching MTV, and I forget. I think it was a Def Leppard video, and it was probably Photograph, and I saw. I think it was who was it? One of the original guitar players. I want to say Steve Clark. I saw him. I saw how he was playing a bar chord or a power chord,
mhm.
and I did what he did and struck it, and it worked. And after that, I spent the rest of that summer every video I could stay home to watch, trying to see what they were doing, and just kind of figuring the fretboard out and mimicking as many sounds as I could. And the next thing you know, and literally within about 6 months, it turned into I was playing bits and pieces of my favorite songs when they'd come up, on MTV. And then and so from there, I started playing by ear, and that's probably the bulk of how I learned how to do what I do.
How old did you say you were then, roughly?
I'm probably still 13, 14 at that time.
Okay. Right around when did you start playing with people then? I mean, did it take a little while after that, or I mean, was it?
No, a couple years. I was. It's funny. I just got reacquainted with a guy on Facebook. His name's Ronald Rich, and he was the only other black kid in my neighborhood that also liked rock and roll, and he was a big Motley Crue fan. And he was like, "Hey man," he's like, "you got a guitar, and I'm playing with some guys down the street, and we need another guitar player." So he took me with him, and we played. I think the intro we played "Run to the Hills" by Iron Maiden and "Livewire" by Motley Crue all night.
That's two. I mean, that's two pretty sick songs to play all night. I mean, that's.
And it was, that was the very first time I ever played with people and in a band situation. Of course, it was a drummer, no singer, and like 5 other guitar players. But that was that was the first jam session.